Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It's 10 o'clock on December 16th as we await this next major coastal storm for late Sunday into Monday. And you can see we've got coastal flood warnings in effect for the South Shore, coastal flood advisories for New Jersey, and also a coastal flood watch for the North Shore. And it looks like parts of New York City. And of course, elsewhere outside of that, let's see, we got a wind advisory and a high wind watch. So I think we're under the high wind watch at this point for Long Island. I think we're going to go over here. Let's see if we are under a high wind watch. And yes, we are. So high wind watch is in effect. And elsewhere outside of that area, we have a wind advisory in effect. So yeah, we have a big mess. You can see storm warnings for the offshore waters. We got a major storm coming. So let's go, and first of all, let's go over today's weather because we did have some scattered cirrus around. You can see what the sky looked like. You can see we had some scattered cirrus and contrails around. There was sunshine, and it was again ridiculously warm. Here's that storm, and you can see. Look, this is why I kind of pull this out because look at how big these storms are, and you can see that El Nino, which is down here. This is El Nino right down here. So this is the El Nino. Let's see if we can get a clearer picture or not. All right, not really. So we'll draw out the El Nino for you here, and this is the El Nino. This is the area of warmer than normal water. So it adds fuel into these storms, and you can see that's exactly what's going on here. So that's why we have all of this huge conveyor of moisture, and right now Florida is being affected by it. So anyway, let's go over what we got going on outside, and you can see not a whole lot going on except in the East Coast. This is where we have all the issues going on right now. Let's see. We have for Florida wind advisories, and then as you make your way up the coast here, gale warnings in effect, and we already went over the wind advisories. And it looks like we got a high wind watch, which will probably be upgraded to a warning pretty shortly. Let's see. They already have a high wind watch on the Cape as well. So let's take a look and see what we got going on outside right now. And I don't know, it feels kind of warm out there. It is kind of warm out there, 45 now. But I'll tell you, along the South Shore, it felt cooler. But here in Mineola, I got home, I got sweaty. Between that and this place being hot. But anyway, you could see the day at Islip, you can see we were back in the 50s again today. And you could see it kind of cooled off as we got toward 4 o'clock, and then it started cooling off. So let's go look at our highs today, and I'm sure they're way above normal. Again, highs, mid-50s, low 50s maybe on the South Shore. Pretty much mid-50s everywhere across the entire area. Lows, 25 to get down to 25 at West Hampton. So in the Pine Barrens, it got below freezing. Elsewhere, it was generally in the mid-30s, and the city was only got down to the 40s due to the urban heat island effect, which we probably have in the alley too. So let's go over our climate statistics for today. High was 54. The normal high is 44. 10 degrees above normal at Islip for the high. Low of 31 was 1 degree above normal. So that puts us 6 degrees above normal for the day at Islip. And Central Park was 11 degrees above normal with a high of 54 and a low of 46. So yeah, ridiculously warm again today. Not surprising. Looking at the current satellite, you can see the high clouds already streaming in. And if we go and we go to the CONUS view, which we will do, you take a look. Here is that storm over Florida right now. So if we go and we look at the conditions over Florida, which we will do because, like I said, they've been dealing with some pretty miserable weather today. And it's been kind of windy there. You see some wind gusts up there. Here's a wind gust up to 45 off the coast. So the storm is already starting to gather strength, and it will only get stronger as it moves northeastward. So let's go to the satellite again, and we're going to actually change this to a water vapor. Let's do it to a water vapor image here. I wish they'd have a full water vapor, but they have. All right, we'll do a lower water vapor. So you can see where the moisture is coming from. Yeah, look at all that moisture right there. This is all dry air, but these green colors, that's where the moisture is. And you can see plenty of it. That's lower. So we go to mid as well. You can see the moisture feed coming all the way from the south, from the tropics from this one as well. So we already went over the briefing from the Weather Service, so we'll go right to the models here. We'll look at the radar too as well, and you can see there's some. The rain is mainly over. I know there's a lot of rain over Florida. The radar is just malfunctioning. Here we go. You can see lots of heavy, heavy rain over Florida right now, pouring over parts of northern Florida. You can see that this storm has got a lot of moisture with it to work with. And looking at the maps, you see here's your storm here, and it's gonna kind of join forces with this storm over here, and that's what's gonna cause it to intensify. So let's look at the models here, and we'll show you the GFS. Obviously, not much has changed. We've kind of gone over this already. The low is going to go up the coast. And you can see here really deepen overnight tomorrow and into. You can see now it looks like it's tracking a little more eastward now. Actually, that has changed. The center of the low is tracking a little more eastward now on the GFS. As it's tracking over us Monday morning would probably be the worst of it. And then it tracks away from us. And then for the rest of the week, we have fair weather with high pressure in there. But before we get to that nice weather, we got to deal with this storm first. So let's take a closer look at this on the GFS here as it makes its way. In fact, we'll go the eastern U.S. view. So here is the track, and you can see it tracks pretty much right along the coast. You can see it almost goes offshore a little bit there. So it looks like it's moving a little more east now on the latest run of the GFS than normally we thought it would go to the west. This may be good news for us. It may spare us the worst effects of the wind if it does that, but we're still going to get a lot of rain. And if we look at the total accumulated precipitation on the GFS here, you'll see, we're going to see at least 2 inches of rain, if not more. A lot of areas going to see all the way up the coast with this storm. All right. So let's go to the other models, because now we've got short-range models that we can look at. And we will take a closer look at the storm now, and we will go to the HRRR. Here is the HRRR. So no rain right now, but tomorrow you might see some light rain or drizzle around. And then we have the heart of the storm coming in much later, like after midnight Sunday night, and that's where you're going to get to that heavy rain. Now here's interesting. The HRRR continues to take it to the west, which would keep us in that strong LLJ. So, believe it or not, this late in the game, we have disagreement on the models, which makes everything a lot harder. I mean, you can see all that rain and wind we're going to get. So if we look at the amount of rain here, total accumulated precip. Oh, here we go. It's just being slow. You'll see probably close to 2 inches, if not more, of rain across the area. And this is the entire area. You can see it's a pretty big area right there that we're going to have. And then we have the wind issue. So I'm going to go to the 850 wind here. And this is definitely scary. Look at this. And the site's being slow again. Okay, so again, we're not going to really see the worst of the winds. This is 850 winds, not until later, and then it's that Monday morning time frame. We have winds above us exceeding 100 miles an hour at 850. That's quite remarkable, and any thunderstorm could bring that down. And then as we get into Monday, the afternoon, it'll start to die off later in the afternoon, but a good chunk of the first half of your Monday is going to be dealing with this, with these kind of conditions. And like I said, you're going to have a high wind warning in effect. It's going to be very substantial wind that we're going to see with this LLJ. All right. If we go to the surface here, what we'll do, and this is a little misleading when I show you this. It's quite misleading, actually, which is why I don't want to show it to you. Let's go to the dew points and wind flow so we can show you the LLJ here. All right. So see southeast winds. And again, it's not until we get to Monday night. That's when we start seeing those very strong southeast winds. The dew points are going to go very high. It's going to get very humid. This is tropical air. And then it won't be until probably after 4 or 5 o'clock that the cool air starts coming back in, and we have the westerly flow take over. Temperatures, just get this out of the way. Probably won't drop much below the low to mid 40s tonight. And then tomorrow we'll probably be in the low to mid 50s again, despite the cloud cover. And then Monday, when we have in the heart of the storm, the temperatures could shoot up to near 60 degrees, perhaps. Crazy. And then it will drop later in the afternoon with the cooler air moving in. But this is pretty impressive stuff that we're dealing with here. So we're going to go to the NAM next, and we're going to go to the radar on the NAM 12. First, the NAM 12, so we'll look at that. So again, you get an idea. Again, just light precipitation for the most part tomorrow. It's not until the evening. NAM moves in a little earlier, but the really heavy stuff's going to occur again in that overnight time frame. You can see there the low going right over us there. And it would taper off by the later. Let's see what the NAM does with rainfall. Probably be a little bit heavier. Oh, yeah, look at this. So most areas could get 2 to 3 inches with the NAM. And look at some of these areas. Wherever this band sets up, 5 inches are possible or more. So flooding. That's why there's going to be a flood advisory. And probably going to see a lot of flash flood warnings on Monday as well with this storm. And then we get to the wind. First at the surface. We'll start at the surface first. And again, you can see that red area there going over. And again, the further east you're going to be, the worse the winds are going to be. Again, this is the NAM. All right, it has the low tracking. So the HRR is further west. The NAM's in the middle. And then we go to the 850. Again, this is the 850. And that's terrifying right there. That's a tremendous amount of wind. This is Monday morning at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And any one of these thunderstorms that develops could bring these winds down. So now we'll go to the higher resolution NAM, and this is the 0Z run of the NAM. I'm a little later tonight because I wanted to get the latest NAM models. So again, tomorrow, just light precipitation, and could be drizzle around, but the heavier stuff moves in later at night, and then the really heavy stuff, again, it's going to be Monday morning, and again, that's wherever you see where these thunderstorms set up. This is where there could be some tremendous downpours in Jersey, perhaps, and those thunderstorms could bring any of the winds down. That low is extremely deep. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, so this is just a very big storm. This is going to be bigger than the one I think we had last Sunday. All right, so we're going to look at a few other things here. Let's go to the FGen. This kind of shows you where the lift is. You can see there's that really impressive FGen right there. All right. I usually prefer using the 12 for this. Yeah, that's better. So you can see here, this really shows how impressive that FGen is. That's a lot of lift right there going on right there. Right along wherever that line sets up, and wherever that line sets up is where you're going to have your heaviest rain. Now, models could be wrong. They could be off by 50 miles. I mean, the heavy rain may be, instead of being in New Jersey, it could be over New York City. It could be over Long Island. So this is going to be one heck of a storm that we're going to have to deal with here for sure. And, again, going to the Weather Service here, we're going over the major coastal storm threat here. This is the latest briefing. Flood watch issued for all but Long Island and New London County Sunday afternoon through Monday afternoon. Coastal flood warnings and watches issued for most of the coast for the Monday afternoon high tide cycle. Key messages: widespread minor urban, poor drainage, and riverline flood threats likely for late Sunday through Monday morning. Threat for minor to moderate flooding of quick responding rivers. Moderate coastal flooding expected from much of the coast Monday afternoon high tide. Locally major possible. Widespread dune erosion and scattered overwashes possible. Strong to damaging winds for the coast late Sunday night into Monday. Storm conditions likely on all waters Sunday night through Monday. All right, and we've been through this all before already here on this briefing here, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be widespread problems across our area from this storm that we're going to have. All right, so I'm going to go back to the GFS, and we're going to widen it out a little bit. And we're going to show you the eastern. Yeah, go to the eastern U.S. and I want to go to that. Yeah, this is what I want to go with. Here you go. So just to show the storm again, and you can see it's going to really intensify once it combines with that other storm in the Midwest, and that's what's going to really cause it to really pick up power. And you can see, look at that stretch of moisture there, coming all the way from the tropics there. And you can see that LLJ coming in right on top of us there for Monday. Very, very impressive. Very impressive. All right, I'm going to pull this out a little more. I want to go to the... Can we get this in the North American? No, it doesn't give me the North American view. Darn it. only gives it to me in the CONUS. But just to show you that feed, it's coming all the way from the tropics. So it's just very, and again, this is all supercharged by that super El Nino that we're seeing. European, also we can show the European as well on this. European is tracking pretty much right on top of us as well. So this is the European here. Going to the thing, and we go here, and we'll go to eastern U.S. Again, show you this really intense storm here. And again, the heavier rain would be, and again, that Monday morning time frame. But the rain could still linger into part of Monday afternoon, and it's gonna be kind of a long duration event, at least 12 hours. So, from figure after midnight Sunday through midnight to noon Monday, probably with this. And then we could use we could show you the winds on this as well, so we can look at the European winds on the European. European seems to keep the worst wind to the east. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It all depends on the track of that storm. So now that we've gone over the storm, let's go into some more of the models here and show you, visualize what the storm could do here. This is the Vent2 Sky here, and we'll go to wind speed, and we'll go to, all right, we're 10 o'clock tomorrow, and we're going to go above, we're going to go just to 500 meters, I think. Not too bad tomorrow night. You see that? This is tomorrow night. Actually, no, this is tonight. Let's go tomorrow night. Yeah, all right. So this is tomorrow night. This is, again, it's starting to pick up at 10 o'clock, all right? But now we go to Monday. This is when it's going to get insane. So 1 o'clock, you can see 54. Again, this is just 500 meters above us here. 4 a.m., 67 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. 7 a.m., again, the further east you are, the worse it's going to be. Out east, you could be, and again, these winds could translate to the surface in a shower or thunderstorm. These winds are just above the surface at 500 meters. And if you're in the Cape, you could be dealing with 100-mile winds above us right now, which is pretty crazy. But just go to 100 meters above the ground. Let's just go to 100 meters above the ground. All right. So this is 100 meters above the ground, 5 a.m. 45 miles an hour, 43 miles an hour. So these are sustained winds, all right? This doesn't include gusts, all right? Now I'm going to put this back down to the surface, and we're going to look at the gusts. All right, so this is where we're going to start seeing it. So after 2 a.m., not too bad yet, but you get towards 6 a.m., this is where your winds are going to start to gust now. 62 miles an hour, and you can see wherever there's a storm, it's showing that a thunderstorm could bring those higher winds down from aloft, and you could have a brief 80-mile-an-hour wind gust in one of these thunderstorms. You can see that right here. This is the surface we're looking at. These are the wind gusts at the surface that we're looking at here on the HRRR. So some pretty strong winds here, 55. Again, and by the afternoon, it starts getting better, so like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But these are some pretty substantial gusts here. Thunderstorm threat, we will go and we'll look at the Cape. I don't think we have the threat for severe thunderstorms, but certainly there could be strong wind gusts in any of these thunderstorms. So an errant severe thunderstorm warning is always possible with this. The other issue, of course, is going to be the seas. All right, so let's visualize the waves now. 4 a.m., you can see they're already picking up, but it's when we get into Monday, this is when it really gets really bad. Nearly 15 footers off the south. So 7 a.m. is not even the worst of it yet. 10 a.m., again, western parts of the South Shore, 15 feet. And look at that. Jersey Shore could be 20 feet, and then over 20 feet out east. I mean, you're going to have a lot of problems. Dune Road, you're going to have inundation. That's going to get washed out, I think. You're going to have a lot of coastal flooding on the South Shore, East End particularly. Fire Island out there, it's going to be pretty bad. Could be some overwashes, and then this is going to continue. Here we are, 4 o'clock. We're still dealing with it. And if you're on the Cape, you're at 25 feet. So these are the kind of things you're gonna have to deal with this storm. And you can see it still doesn't die down even later Monday. And this is just one model here we can use with the wind. All right, I'm going to change them. Oh yeah, this model doesn't let us do everything. So we have to go to the windy. All right, so the windy is the European model. This will kind of show us the European model, but I want to use the shorter range model. So let's go to the NAM. I want to see the NAM and the wind above the ground on the NAM. All right, so we're looking at wind. Let's move this above the ground to 950. Okay, so this is going to take us, let's go to Monday morning here. Yeah, this is above the ground at, what are we at, 950 MB, 2,000 feet up. All right, so 4 a.m., these are the wind speeds, 2,000 feet up, 54, but it gets worse as you get toward 8 a.m. You see those areas of white, that's pushing 90-mile-an-hour winds. Again, you can see that I think the best chance of the strongest winds is going to be out east, just like with the last storm we had. Luckily, the worst winds didn't materialize. But you can see, this is 950, and those are the winds just off the ground. Now I'm going to go back to the surface, and we're going to look at wind gusts on the NAM. All right, so this is wind gusts on the NAM, and it's showing, look at that, 65 miles an hour over Suffolk County there. And Nassau County, it's showing, this is 10 a.m. Monday, 63. So, yeah, these are some pretty strong winds. The NAM, obviously, being worse than some of the other models, but I figured I'd show the worst-case scenario and show you what we're going to be dealing with. And you can see there's that boundary again. So it kind of cuts off wherever that boundary is. It's going to be a lot of convergence. See, 9 p.m. Sunday, you're not having too many crazy wind gusts, but it's a Monday. Monday morning is when the worst of this storm is going to be hitting us, I think. Now I'm going to go to the European. We'll put the European on here. And European is not much better here, showing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts for Long Island. So expect a lot more power outages, I think, than the last one we had. I think a lot more power outages, especially over Suffolk County. And you can see, yeah, look at that. Look at Suffolk County here, 11 a.m., 62-mile-an-hour winds. This is really going to be bad, these winds here. I know I'm focused on the winds a little more than the rain, but the winds I think are going to be a little more of a threat than the last one. And the waves, because these are what the waves are going to be at 5 a.m. Monday. And you can see, look at that, 17 foot. And then we move this to 10 a.m. Gets worse. 20 foot waves. This is going to be very bad for a lot of the South Shore. A lot of just the storm is just going to be a powerhouse because you've got some tropical characteristics and you got some extratropical characteristics, and they're combining forces sort of similar to Sandy, and we're seeing this happen. And I don't think the North Shore is going to have that much of a threat from the any coastal flooding. It's mainly going to be the South Shore because of you can see the swells from the south. So that would be the South Shore that you'd have this type of thing. And then, of course, yes, we have the rainfall. So let's go now and look at rain accumulation here. And this is the European rain. We'll do the next 3 days, and this will kind of show us the rainfall that we could have. So 2 inches, so we're not going to see 5 inches, maybe not on Long Island, depends on where the band's set up. But in New Jersey, that's where you could see the 3, maybe 5 inches amounts if that sets off up to the west. Like I said, it's all dependent on the storm track, and that can always change. So you combine the rain, the wind, you're going to have a lot of problems. Trees down, power outages. The ground is also softer from all the rain, so that's going to help trees come down a little more easily. You're going to have flooding of roadways. You're going to have problems on the railroads probably, and it's not going to be a good thing. And I think the MTA has their meeting Monday morning, their committee meeting. I think they should postpone it, but they're not going to. It's going to be a mess Monday morning. It's going to be an absolute mess. And if I were you, if you can, I would advise you not to go into work that day or at least go in later because the conditions in the morning are going to be dangerous. And flooding, you have to deal with the winds. And again, the worst it's going to be as far as the winds go east of the area. But this is all very, very concerning, and there's just a lot of energy with this storm. And so let me just go over again what we got going on here again. Storm warning for offshore waters, storm watch for the inshore waters, coastal flood warnings for the South Shore of Long Island, coastal flood watches for the North Shore. We have a high wind watch in effect, and a coastal flood advisory for New Jersey. So we have a lot to deal with this storm, and we'll have more information for you tomorrow night on it. Obviously, that's what I'm going to be focusing on right now. But anyway, have a good night. We still have time to prepare. Tomorrow will just be maybe a little bit on the damp side. There might be some drizzle around a light rain, but the real heavier rain and the stormiest doesn't happen until later tomorrow night into Monday morning. Especially, like I said, Monday morning is going to be when the worst of this thing hits.